Okay, I sent an email this morning out to the board talking about, actually, I would like to move on to another business. And the reason for that is the company that we're dealing with has some end of the year closings that they need to work on, and as we do also from time to time. I have those deadlines to meet. We have been talking with American Tower. They own one of the towers in town, and they want to make a straight payment to the city of Clinton, and a one-time payment, or they have two different options for multiple year payments, one 5 years and one 10 years. We talked about it last night, and we seem to have come down with a lot of folks on the board here in favor of a one-time payment, and some in favor of a 10-year payment. Just in general ideas, their initial offer was $228,000, and it was negotiated up to $272,000 for a one-time payment. And I would suggest that the board take advantage of that, and we park the money in the budget and talk about what to do with it later, where we would want to put it under what specific item in the budget. So I throw that out to the board as a suggestion, and we'll open the floor for discussion.
Mayor, last night we raised the question as whether we could leverage these time payments with some money up front and still retain ownership of it. Was there any follow-up on that? Did we figure out whether or not we could do that, or whether that would be something worth looking at?
I talked to Russell about it. You talked borrowing money. Right, okay. Yeah, put it later, sir.
You can bring them
Yes. We would have to borrow significantly less money than the $272,000 and pay the interest that would come off of it, and then we would extend it out over 10 years. Russell and I talked about it last night. About 10 minutes after our meeting ended last night, Russell called me. We talked about it, and I just thought it would be better if you have the money up front versus and use it versus extending it out over 10 years. If we're going to do that, then we just need to go with option 3. And take $3,278 a month for 10 years, or a total of $393,391. If you come out better financially like that. Russell, you have any comments?
We're kind of limited to what we can do whenever we borrow money. But one thing, there's no authority for us to just go to the bank and get a commercial loan. Most commercial loans require collateral, and we can't take any of the city property and use it as collateral. This is such a small amount that we probably couldn't do just a regular GO bond. One of the options.
You mean leveraging $272,000 on a GO bond?
Right. One of the other options that we would have had would be a general obligation note, which we did that back when we did the Pine Haven. The problem with that is you can only do it for 5 years. Based on the statutes, you can only do 5 years on a note like that. So those are really the options that we have. So.
You do have finance here, that what's your suggestion, that we take the one-time payment?
I would take the one-time payment.
And that one-time payment will grant them access to that pole for how long?
Forever.
Forever. Forever.
Yeah, and that option, they're buying poles, so we did one-time money. The other option, again, we got a stream of payments. Then the question was whether the technology would be where they would renew it again too, or whether technology would change.
So, if they own that pole forever, could they change the use of that pole?
That's a different ordinance. Right now they're doing cell service and microwave service on that tower. It's a relay. That tower's a relay.
That's something that we brought to the
But I understand that, but my question is that, one of the things we talked about last night was how technology is changing, and in 5 years or 10 years, the use that they have for that pole may not exist. Could they turn and use that pole for something else for an extended period of time?
Like, for instance, like a billboard or something.
Well, we don't know what technology is going to need. They may need it for another
Well, I would think that what we're buying them out of, what they're buying us out of, our trades, is for the purpose it's being used for now. If they needed to change something, they would have to come back to the city and make the necessary approvals or disapprovals, as the case may be, for whatever that might be.
Could that be stipulated in an agreement that it was designed only for that particular use?
Yes, and generally the easement language would limit it to being something substantially similar, at least to what it's currently used as. If the technology changes, they may be able to put some other type of apparatus on there, but they would have to keep it similar in character to what it's normally. They couldn't change it fundamentally, so like a billboard, like you say, or something like that.
We have an ordinance covering cell towers.
Right, but again, where I'm spitballing this, is again, last night we talked about either a 5-year, option 2, which was a 5-year option, or option 3, which was a 10-year option. Because at the end of that 5 or 10-year period, my understanding was that there would not be a re-up. But if they own that, and they extend that after 10 years for another 10 years, are we leaving an additional 10 years of money on the table? Does that make sense? Because we were all kind of assuming that after the 5-year term or the 10-year term, if we opted to go that route, that would be it, that there wouldn't be, is the question, I think Keith, you brought up the question about what happens after.
I think the answer is, at the end of the 5-year or 10-year term, they would own it.
Yes,
And
that's
they're in the
true.
same situation that you're talking about now.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't leasing those 5 or 10-year options.
All right, I got it.
Their other option is they could buy it out, or they could just stop using the pole right now.
Right.
And they'll put another pole up somewhere else.
I didn't
That would have to
understand,
go through the city also.
I didn't understand option 2 or 3 being that was a purchase over time, that was just a lease. So at the end of the 5 years or the 10 years, they wouldn't have to continue doing it, but the technology they still needed the pole, and they would re-up for another lease. But I don't think they weren't going to own it at the end of the 5 years or the 10 years if we chose one of those 2 options.
My understanding is they would own it.
Yes, sir. The installment over time is strictly with regard to the payment. All 3 options are for perpetual easement.
Or for buyouts. All 3 options are buyouts.
Okay, I didn't, see, I went to Alderman Martin, I didn't catch that last night.
Okay, so I guess with that, looking at it like that, I would, if it's appropriate, I'd go ahead and make a move at that time when it's ready to accept a one-time payment of $272,000.
May I ask one other question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What are they actually buying? Are they just buying a pole? Are they buying X square feet of land around the pole too?
The easement is for the use of the pole and some small amount of land. I don't have the exact, acreage or square footage, but essentially what they currently have is what this would be for. So that same.
So are they buying a plot of land that they would have indefinitely if that pole were removed, or is it an easement that would stop?
It would be a perpetual easement, so they would have access and use of it. They wouldn't own it technically.
They wouldn't own the land, but they would have an easement to the land.
They own just a pole.
Own just the pole, correct. Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second, if y'all would vote, please.
I don't have that.
No.
Roll call.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries 6-1. I'd like to announce that the